Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. This is an explanation of what happens at a wreath laying ceremony that's conducted by the President at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier for Arlington National Cemetery. Now I haven't seen this before. I was requested to go through this. This is 18 minutes. I'm not going to go through the entire 18 minutes, minute by minute, although I probably could and talk for a long time. I just will try not to do that. How's that? All right, so you see the Marine slip right there. Let me see if I just make sure that your volume is turned down just a bit so it doesn't overpower my voice, because it sounds like the recording is at a higher level. So this is all marble. Every single one of the steps you see here, right back here, this is all marble. You can see that the Navy platoon is marching up. The Marine platoon obviously is higher, but they go in stages. Each one of the platoons. Now the Air Force has a flight, but the generic term is platoon. And the Air Force and Space Force are one platoon. All right, here we go. So marble is yeah, very slippery. At least it's not raining. So this is looks like a really good day back in May. Then we have the Coast Guard platoon coming up. You can see how let me go back just a split second here. You can see how the step is not much bigger than the foot size of each one of the members of the platoon. Now these look to be mostly males who are here, but still it's not much bigger, not at all. So each one of the platoons will mark time a couple of steps at the bottom of the front side of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Now this right here, where you see the in-ground crypts, this is the back of the platoon. Here's the mat that the guard walks. And then for Memorial Day, they had the flag posting, flags in, and so each one of the crypts has a flag. So here's the main crypt. This is the World War I Tomb of the Unknown. It's out of all of the unknowns that were recovered for World War I, there was selection made. There's a long story of it that is really very interesting. If you care to look it up, there was a selection made of several caskets, and there was one chosen, and so that individual then sits inside here. Then there's, and I forget the order of which one each one of these is, but I'm going to take a guess here at there's World War II, and then Korea, and then here is Vietnam. I think it could be World War II, Korea here, and then Vietnam in the middle. Not exactly sure. One of the crypts was opened in the early 90s. Captain Blassie, I believe his name was, he was identified, disinterred, and then his family got to bury him, which was really nice. And my wife was an Air Force nurse. She retired from the Air Force about 6 years after I did, and she was part of not the research, but she was part of the medical staff at one point that was working the whole project, which is kind of neat. So in the rear here, in the far distance, I should say, you can see here's the officer who is in charge of the states and territories, the S&T platoon. But these are two long lines. You can see the others right here. Two long lines of state and territory colors, and all those bearers line that walk. That's where the president comes up, and then the joint service team right here is getting ready to present the colors. So they go through. So they dress center here, the Air Force dressing center. Then they look. So dressing center is very different from what we usually do. I remember those cameras. I was in high school in the 80s. So President's probably on his way, so everybody goes to the position of right shoulder, which in regulation drill it's called carry. A little more accurate, I think, to call it right shoulder, because there actually is also a left shoulder. You can see the old style of the colors frame here, really wild looking, huge. And now we use what the Army uses. The Navy also uses the same type. They no longer have the heart shaped, which the Marine Corps has stayed with the same forever and after. And then same with the Coast Guard. They don't use that anymore. They use this. Very interesting, at least for me. I know not too many get really excited about stuff like this, but so here's the joint team. There we go. That's better. So for joint, for ceremonial colors work, the team will come to. They're doing a fantastic job here with that wheel. Very nice. The team will come to shoulder. Then they do. That was a step close. You can see a step and then slide over. So they're the honor guard now is receiving the colors. So they go to present arms. All the platoons that are lined up at the tomb go to present. And you heard the echo commands when the officer said order. You heard order from all of the platoon commanders. But if you listen closely, and I'll play that once again, you listen closely, the colors commander says right shoulder, because they're not going to go to order. They need to move out of the way. So we'll go right there. Hold on just a second here. Let me turn your volume up so we can make sure you hear it. So technique a little bit different for the guards now. It's a much slower. Right shoulder. And he says. So he says, post the colors. And it's not a loud command, it's only directed toward to the colors. So they step off with a nice heel slide. Excellent job here, just fantastic work. And honestly, when they now they're doing the left about. The rotation is from the middle, because if you do it from one guard, then it takes a lot longer to turn around. Also, it's less accurate for your alignment. They need to be aligned right there. So wherever they, and now they're doing split it, so that they can halt, step, slide. There you go. So different techniques used for each one of the, oh crud. Different techniques used going to order, slightly different. So they were dressing center, and when they dress center, there's marks that they align to. When the platoons dress center, they just, I can't remember if there's marks out there or not. I don't think so. But they will make sure that they are equidistant between each other. So the dress center is eyes down so that you can check your feet, make sure that you're aligned and all that good stuff.
Platoon leaders, give your platoons at ease.
So if you notice, it doesn't go in sequence to where they're lined up. Now, for the tomb is the center mark, and then radiating out from the tomb like this. Whoop, let me move that a little bit. So radiating out in the first position is Army. Then if the tomb is here, second position is on the other side. That's Marine Corps. Then third position, this is Army. Third position is back over here. So all the odds are here, all the evens over here. So Army, Marine Corps, then Navy, Air Force, and then Coast Guard is last. So you heard the commander give your units at ease. So you heard ceremonial at ease for each one of the platoons, and then the colors use a slightly different technique.
The ceremony you are about to witness is an armed forces full-honor wreath ceremony. The wreath will be placed by President Ronald Reagan. The host for today's ceremony is Major General John L. Valentine.
So I'll turn you down just a bit. So the color guard then gives stand at ease, not ceremonial at ease. It's a tiny bit shorter movement, and so if you see this this direction now where the camera is, anytime you will witness a ceremony at Arlington at the Tomb of the Unknowns, you'll see a camera angle that's just like this, or it's a little bit over to the left and lower so that you see. Here's the COT, the commander of troops. He's right here. So the COT will actually be in your upper right screen there sometimes. So this is a little higher, and it's probably because it's back in the 80s. There's scaffolding over here at the Tomb of the Unknowns, and that scaffolding is for the press, and this is where they set up all those cameras, and probably have some reporters as well. They don't talk. So here we go. There's states and territories there, and here everybody's stand at ease. So you can see the interesting grip here. Even though it's joint service, but everybody adheres to the Army standard because the Army is present. That's the President's arrival. He's receiving 21 gun salute. Then so there's a difference. I wanted to mention there's a difference between colors and flags. So in order to separate the commands, you'll hear here comes the wreath. Everybody's getting ready for the President's arrival now that the guns are going off. You'll hear the commander of the color guard, the color sergeant, give colors, attention, or colors, right shoulder, arms. So the reason for the multiple, or really the two sort of, you could call them the preparatory commands. Colors, right shoulder. Right shoulders, it's a command of preparatory command on its own, but saying colors separates the color team from any other ceremonial unit or element that they're working with. And then to make sure that there's a separation between the color guard and the flags, the states and territories. The command for flags is the states and territories there is flags, carry flags. So it's a much different. And then if you're out for a ceremony, a funeral ceremony at one of the grave sites, then there's firing party, which is a preparatory command. Colors, again, the preparatory command, and also bearers as well for the pallbearers. So some people might ask about the difference in the staffs, and thanks to I had um, a Commandant's 4 member. The Commandant's 4 is the color guard from Marine Barracks, Washington, and he told me that none of the staffs are the break part, the 2-part. So these staffs here all look to be the 1 part, and they are easier to warp. So now the president receives honors. So, there we go. So now a tomb guard comes out. Here's the wreath. Now, obviously, the wreath bearer lays the wreath. The VIP doesn't, but it's a symbolic gesture for the VIP, the dignitary, to do that. And they'll go through after the drum roll off. They'll go through the sounding of taps by the bugler. And that was taps. And there's a moment of silence for the dignitary. I don't think the general removes his cover anymore. Not sure of that though. At least protocol back then was obviously to do it. So the colors come back to center. To receive a salute. Nice alignment of sockets there, by the way. So here, one thing I definitely need to mention is that the the Marine Guard. I don't know when it's stopped, but the Marine Guard doesn't go to left shoulder anymore. So for every service but the Army, we go to the outside, or the sea services call it the outboard shoulder. For the Army, both the guards are at right shoulder. So Marine Corps had guards at both at right shoulder for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, I'm gonna say not 60s, it's got to be 70s, probably even 80s, that they changed to the outboard shoulder. Don't know why.
Left wheel.
So no, yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Forward.
so you can hear for colors they're wearing toe taps, they're wearing heel taps, and they're wearing the cheaters. The cheaters are the side heel taps, those bars that when they bring their feet together, we stand like this with the heels and toes together. So when they bring their feet together,
Take charge of your platoon.
there's always a crack. That's the blue uniform that I wore, the 4-button uniform, which never should have been taken away. But a certain chief of staff had to make his, now you can see, watch. 1, 2, and then step. A certain chief of staff for the Air Force, several years ago, many years ago, decided that he wanted to make a name for himself. So he screwed up our uniform completely. And you can just catch a little bit of shine of the cheaters for the Navy soldiers, or Navy sailors. So the honor guard marches away. They march back down those steps, those marble steps, slippery marble steps, and they get back on the bus and head out. Well, so hey, I did 23 minutes on an 18.5-minute video, so not too bad. Thanks for watching. I hope that I've answered some questions that some of you might have had. If I can answer any more, or if if you have questions and I don't know the answer to, I know people who I can ask right away. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it.